already lost my
But
business.
from a financial level, you need at least, right, a year and a half ago, maybe 1 million, 1.5 million to start thinking about a retail item. Now, with the way these states are lining up, $5 million off top. Minimum. Fluid. Retail. Cultivation processing, 10, 20 million off top. Fluid capital. And what fluid capital means is that I can go to your account right now and see it right there. Not, we don't get it after the application goes. Not, it's all coming together.
And let's talk about even the application process. That is risk capital. There is no guarantee you're going to get a license. So you have to be able to set that money on fire in your yard and not care about it. Like, it's at least $250,000, $300,000.
You got to set that money up. But on top of that, you got to have insurance. Like, they didn't used to require insurance coverage with these original applications. Now they do. And AIG doesn't insure cannabis businesses anymore. They pass that on to AI. And luckily, in our network, we know black and brown faces that are leading these conversations that will give you the best hookup ever, but ain't no hookup off $30 million. We can't do that, right? So the reality is that I don't believe that nothing is impossible, but this is where it is. So when we talk about equity, you being able to have access to that capital, you can't get that as a loan. But there are banks doing loans, by the way, but they're not doing it to us, right? There's a real way of thinking about this from a collective economic standpoint that's important, that your legislators don't get, that your Congress people don't get, your Assembly people don't get, your federal leaders don't get, black, white, or brown. And I'll tell you right now, trying to educate black and brown folks on this from a congressional level is very challenging, and it's been something that has totally...
The drug war,
right.
Everyone's mind.
And the voters are primarily coming from the church, and if the church is deem this still the devil's lettuce, right? Then we have a problem to begin with. So it goes back to education. I'll be honest and say that not everybody's going to get a dispensary, and once, Arkansas is medical now, once they decide to go fully, Walmart is already figuring this out, so there will be Walmart beat. And we already know what that looks like on a scale. I came from Target, so none of us will compete in this room. I don't care how much you have that's fluid in your wallet. We're talking about multi-billion-dollar companies that want to play. So I really, and I think all of us are champions of this, I made my money as an ancillary business. I've never had to, do a license except for what my client is doing, and yet has still been able to thrive and continue to move forward. And so the book I wrote, and the reason why I think we continue to talk about it, is that there are cheat codes. The picks and the shovels in the gold rush are the businesses that actually thrive. Everybody that was trying to be a speculator and going out there trying to do the actual mining, they didn't really find that much success. So I really want to encourage people of color to look at what you are capable in now, your capabilities, your skills that you have now, your credentials, and cross those things over into the industry so that you can start right away from a thought leader position, because the industry is still so new. Everything that any other industry needs, this one does need, and those are services and products that people will pay for. Whether they're in the underground legacy market, like plant soil, or hydroponics, or they're actually in the legal market. So as all of the total economic landscape is looked at, you can actually capitalize on both growing. I think that that's where I'm constantly pushing. Let's get to the cheat codes. We do need to act right now. Join an organization if you're not already part of one, and I'm not talking about the NAACP, because guess what? They're still 15 years behind, right? You can still be a part of them and be the thought leader there, but be the thought leader with your FMM or your MCBA or whatever organization you bring, your SMART organization that you're bringing to the table to say, hey, there's a marijuana-based organization that's already doing this. We need to join forces, and we need to take this large NAACP influence. Literally, I was at the conference in Detroit, and I was the only cannabis company there. All of the presidential candidates from the Democrats came through, all of them. Only that organization commands that type of respect, but they knew nothing about cannabis. No one visited.
And so the big thing, just to highlight more ancillary opportunities, something that I deal with as a chief marketing officer for a hemp farm, and also working with different retail stores right now in the CBD and cannabis space, is this. well-designed products ain't gonna get on the shelf. Things that are not designed or compliant, you're not gonna make it. There is a drastic and desperate need for people to design with compliance in mind, given how things are moving in different states. You can do that from a state that may not even got it. It is growing daffodils. Like, you can literally do that from anywhere. So if you're thinking about this in a way where it's like, well, it's either, first of all, I don't think dispensaries make money. I don't want to get into another conversation about that. But you can do what you want to do in the space and take your skills immediately into something else as a lawyer or a CPA or a nurse or a doctor or a designer or a videographer. You can immediately take that into the space. You don't need to think about, I need to find a way to win $10 million so I can go apply and open a grow. You just don't have to put yourself under that type of redlining for yourself.
Yeah, because those opportunities right there are the first time that you can potentially get on a license and maybe get yourself some equity.
Which has happened twice to me.
Right, that much value as a consultant, as a lawyer, as all those different positions that you're gonna need to, apply. So.
I'm gonna piggyback off of that. One thing, I live in Colorado, and compliance experts are really, really needed. You just need to know the regulations for the state. They change frequently. There's a lot of gray area in areas that you really just don't know what the right answer is, and areas to take risks. But those positions are in high demand. So just really do more research and really understand where your place could be in this industry. It doesn't always have to be growing, owning a dispensary. There are a lot of opportunities.
Anybody
It could
here grow
be
weed?
building a dispensary.
A little bit?
I think that they're bringing up some really, really good points, but one thing that I would like to just say, if that is your desire and your goal is to have a dispensary or to get a license, one license changes many, many lives.
That's correct.
Many lives. And I guess with that being said, there are a lot of I's and a lot of T's to be crossed and a lot of I's to be dotted, and get all your ducks in a row. I know of a person who did all of this, got everything going, had 2 shops going, opened up the 3rd shop, and one little thing slipped through the cracks on the 3rd shop. They forgot to have an employee manual. No handbook. They hired a manager that came in, and he thought, my hiring process is not going to be this tall of resumes of people wanting to just be budtenders at $13.50 an hour with no benefits. Stack of resumes this high. Didn't even look at any of them. It was one of these numbers. That's how he did his hiring, all the females, and then picked them out one by one. Guess who got fired?
He did.
All of the female budtenders got fired because he set up shop to prey upon the women. And so, there's a lot of things happening in this industry. The Me Too movement is happening every day in shops across the state. And so we have to step up and protect our women, our black and brown women and our red women. When we talk about, weaponizing, right now I know of a young woman who was searched last weekend in Idaho because the law enforcement officers had to detect the odor of marijuana in your car. That is still going on right now in communities of color. So we're having this very sexy discussion about how we find the green rush, but the reality is that we have the hindsight of what, the good old white boys have already done in the system. We ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna go down that road, and we're gonna protect our people, because our people want to be in this industry, even if, in positions with no benefits, because they have the passion, they have the knowledge, and it's a purpose. It's a very purposeful place to be a budtender, to educate people and to work on that negative stigma. And so I come here also as an advocate and to advocate for workers in the industry about protections that need to take place for the budtender.